Welcome to the Handicapping Weekender for April 13th. In this video, we're going to take a look at the 10th race at Keeneland, the Toyota Bluegrass Grade 1 Stakes race with a purse of $750,000 for 3-year-olds going a mile and eighth on the main track. And the one thing I want to mention is we're getting down to the wire here with the stakes races for points to get into the Kentucky Derby. So I think this is going to be a pretty contentious race. We have a full field of 14 with an also eligible one more that'll make it 15. So depending on if there's any scratches, that horse could get in. So the first horse I want to take a look at, just out of sentimental value, is the 3 Undrafted, which is a horse that's owned by former Patriot Wes Welker. So if you're a Boston fan, take a look at that horse. I'm not sure if it has too much of a chance to win, but I thought it was just an interesting little fact. So let's move on to the actual horses that I'll be looking at in this particular race. I kept the 4 Java's War. So it looked like in the Tampa Bay Derby, finished third to Verrazano, who is probably going to be the Kentucky Derby horse to beat, also the favorite in the race. Only finished second by 3 lengths at almost 33 to 1. Proved to be no match to Verrazano, but ran a pretty nice race. This is going to be a second race back, so I expect a little bit of improvement. We'll see how the pace of this race shakes out. Looks like there's a little bit of speed, but I think it'll be pretty well in control. So we'll see what happens. This particular horse, Java's War, actually ran a pretty nice race at Keeneland, finishing third by a length and 3/4 in the Breeders' Futurity Grade 1 Stakes race back in October of 2012. So this horse does, I think, handle the track pretty well. We'll see if the second race out will bring a little bit of improvement to him. The next horse that I was kind of interested in, a little bit like a mid-price overlay, was the 5 Palace Malice. Ran a pretty nice race, in my opinion, in the Louisiana Derby, going a mile and eighth at Fairgrounds. You see a pretty big middle move there, going from 6th place by 7.5 lengths back to 4th by a length and a half. Got beat by Revolutionary. My Loot was also in there. I think he just kind of ran into trouble coming into the stretch. Maybe it says here stymied the 5/16 to the 8th pole, so probably got blocked a little bit on the turn there. This horse probably will be moving coming off the turn. It's going to be ridden by Garrett Gomez, pretty strong rider out of California. So I know Garrett can get a horse into gear. So if this horse gets a little bit better trip, I think it'll certainly be in the money. If we could look 2 races back, ran a pretty nice race at Fairgrounds again in the Risen Star Grade 2 Stakes race. Finished third by a half a length to I've Struck a Nerve. So definitely a horse that I'm going to keep an eye on coming out of Todd Fletcher's barn. His horses have been running pretty well recently. If this horse goes a little bit longer price, I might throw it in the exotics. I mean, 8 to 1 morning line. If we can get around that, maybe a little bit better. Definitely a horse to be looking at as a overlay. The next horse I kept was the 7 Uncaptured with a 7 to 2 morning line. Certainly going to be moving on the turn, making his second start back. Ran a nice race in the Spiral Grade 3 Stakes race at Turfway Park. Maybe a little bit over his head in this particular race, but we'll see. He's run pretty nice races in some of the graded stakes races in 2012. Can't really knock him for having 6 wins out of 8 races. So distance on a fast track, 2 for 2. Actually come in second at a mile and 1/8 here, which was that Spiral Graded Stakes race at Turfway Park. And she ended up finishing second to Black Onyx, who I think is a pretty nice horse as well. This horse probably will not be an overlay. Probably be one of the first, second choice, I think, in this particular race. But definitely a horse that I'm going to keep on my radar here. And then the last horse I was looking at was the 13 Rydaluk, 4 to 1 morning line. No real knocks on him. Seems to be improving at the right time. Coming off the turf to dirt, synthetic rather, from Gulfstream Park. Already won at a mile and 1/8. Ran the Palm Beach Grade 3 Stakes race at a mile and 1/8 at Gulfstream last race out. Won that pretty easy on the lead. I think in this particular race, I'm not sure if he's going to get an easy lead like that. So I expect a little bit of of a solid pace here, and I'll probably stick with the 7 and the 5. I think the 5 can show a little bit of improvement if he gets a better trip. Definitely a horse I'm going to be looking at if he's going to be good odds. So should you get involved, good luck. I'm going to go with the 7, 5, and possibly the 13. We'll see how that works out.